SGI-USA, an American Buddhist association that promotes world peace and individual happiness based on the teachings of the Nichiren School of Mahayana Buddhism. The fundamental purpose of the SGI-USA is the happiness of people. Our core practice is the chanting of Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo means devotion to the ultimate law of the universe, cause and effect. Nam, the action of practicing Buddhism. Myoho, the mystic law of the universe in its phenomenal manifestations. And Renge, simultaneity of cause and effect. Kyo, all phenomena. Our central activity is sharing the ideals of Buddhism with our friends, family, and community. Such ideals as respect for each other, nonviolence, and our shared humanity, we believe form bonds of brotherhood and sisterhood. We believe these bonds are the foundation for world peace. Today, we remember the life of our dear Michael as a practitioner, a friend, father, son, nephew, and husband. Next, we will have Andre Waddell read the obituary.
Thank you. Michael J. Rodio, 63, residing in South Bend, Indiana, passed away on April 7th, 2022 in the Center for Hospice Care at Raclin House, Mishawaka. Michael was born June 14, 1958 in Cleveland, Ohio, to Joseph Rodio and the late Elizabeth DeLong. On November 1st, 1986, in Pinole, California, Michael was united in marriage to Beverly Ann Tayor, who survives. In addition to his wife, Michael was survived by his father, Joseph Red Rodio, with Gloria Rodio in Cleveland, Ohio. Stepson, Michael Kolofer in Fresno, California. Sister Michelle Rodio with Michael Seliga of Cleveland, Ohio. Brothers Joseph Rodio with Toni Rodio of Orlando, Florida. Mark Rodio with Nelson Muniz of Cleveland, Ohio. Aunt Mary and Ray Newcomb of Cleveland, Ohio. Uncle Lou and Helen Rodio of Leeds, Alabama. Aunt Sandy and Bernard Walsh of Fleming, Ohio. Aunt Marilyn, Uncle Chuck with Lucy Rice, and numerous nieces and nephews. Michael worked for Transpo Public Transportation as a driver. He was a member of the Transit Union Local 0996. Michael loved baseball. Having been born in Cleveland, he rooted for the Cleveland Guardians. And he rooted for the Oakland A's because that's where he grew up. Michael had great knowledge of all stuff baseball, music, movies, and TV. He was often asked to be on Trivia Pursuit teams. Michael loved his family and friends, and he had lots of both. I was happy to be one. Michael was deeply committed into practice of Nichiren Buddhism and working with the Buddhist organization Soka Gakkai International, USA. In lieu of flowers, please consider making memorial contribution. Contributions should be made to Northern Indiana Food Bank, located on Chapin Street in South Bend, Indiana. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will have Delba Smith, who will be reading messages and encouragement from SGI General Directors.
Good afternoon. First, I'll start with condolences from the Oakland family, from Calvin McElroy. I'm sorry. He was such a great guy when he worked with the band in the 70s. He was so much fun. I could trust him with my life. Leslie Thorpe. I love that guy, our brother, our only male roommate, protector of us, his girls, the best potato skillet man ever. Big, big laugh. Love. Scott Bynum, sorry, Scott. Very sorry to hear about Skip passing away. He was a good friend to us all in our younger days. I've thought of him often over the years and some of the crazy times we had back then. Tori Norwood, send me a picture of him so I can see his face in my mind while sending out thank yous for his life. From Julie Waldron. There's a quote from the Heritage of the Ultimate Law. When the lives of these persons come to an end, they will be received in the hands of 1,000 Buddhas who will free them from all fear and keep them from falling into the evil path of existence. How can we possibly hold back our tears at the inexpressible joy of knowing that not just one or two, not just 100 or 200, but as many as 1,000 Buddhas will come to greet us with open arms. And again, that's from the Heritage of the Ultimate Law of Life and the message from Julie Waldron. I will always remember Michael's youthful spirit. He had a special way of relating to young people, especially her daughter Taylor. When Michael was a chapter leader, I will never forget how much he encouraged the Ledbetter brothers, Damu and Yaku. He would see their potential, their true potential. Also, I will always treasure the heart of a leader when both you and Michael opened up your house just because I needed a place to take the next level study exam. I have no doubt that Michael will be able to continue his mission when he is reborn into a loving family and becomes a member of the Courageous Youth Division. He will forever be in our hearts. Julie and the Waldron family. This is a message from Cindy Preston. My name is Cindy, and I met Skip in 1974 at the Redwood Heights Playground in East Oakland, which is why I still call him Skip. We have been steadfast friends ever since. We went all through high school with our three musketeers, Mike Bynum, messed it up again, sorry. After school, we were roommates with our other Oakland crew. I do not remember a time when Skip was not a part of my life. He was really more brother than friend. Skip was the only one my mom would let me go run around with because she knew I would be safe. Of course, she did not know what we were doing out, but she knew I would be safe. When Skip and I married our spouses, instead of going our own ways, our spouses were more extended family. And both our moms were in the mix too. I'm so proud of the husband Skip was to Beverly. Watching them together and learning about their practice let me know he would always be okay. Skip was 100% in with those he cared about. I know he is okay, and we're going to be okay on and we are going to be okay on his new journey. He is still 100% in. The last message I have is from a message of condolence, and this is from Aiden Strauss, General Director of SGI Sokagakai, to the friends and family of Michael Rodio. From the bottom of my heart, I would like to express my sincerest condolences to each of you gathered here today to honor the life of Michael Rodio, especially to his father, Mr. Joseph J. Rodio, his stepmother, Mrs. Gloria Rodio, his wife, Beverly, his stepson, Michael, and his siblings, Michelle, Joseph, and Mark. Please accept my deepest sympathies. The passing of a close family member is a time of great emotional challenges. I can only imagine this must be an extremely difficult time for you. But please know that we are supporting you with our strongest prayers. Please call on us if there is anything we can do to support. Nichiren Daishonin, who founded our practice more than 750 years ago, taught that every person, without exception, has a profound mission in each lifetime. It goes without saying that Michael was and is possessed of such a profound mission as well. To Beverly, please be absolutely confident that, as Nichiren Daishonin states, as of marriage, it is not a matter of this life alone. Your profound prayers and your shining life condition will become Michael's prayers in his life condition as well. Michael was a treasured pioneer of our world peace movement, practicing for 40 years. He wholeheartedly dedicated his life to the happiness of his family and friends, as well as playing a great role in laying the foundation of the SGI-USA in California and Indiana. I understand that he was a wonderful person who took on responsibility in SGI organization to support others in their Buddhist practice. There is no doubt that his compassion and care inspired many people and thus enveloped his life in boundless good fortune. On behalf of SGI USA, I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation for his care and efforts for so many years. SGI President Daisaku Ikeda shares, because those who have died, in a sense, live on within us, our happiness is naturally shared with those who have passed away. So the most important thing is for those of us who are alive at this moment to live with hope and strive to become happy. By becoming happy ourselves, we can send invisible waves of happiness to those who have passed away. As we are always together, inseparable, Michael will be deeply missed, but he will always be with us in our prayers, in our hearts. Let us continue to live out our lives with dignity and to realize great happiness and victory. Through our victories, we can express our gratitude to Michael and attest to the beautiful life he lived. I am sending my heartfelt prayers for the eternal happiness of Michael J. Rodio and for the prosperity and advancement of you all, his family and friends. With my deepest sympathies, Aiden Strauss, General Director, April 23rd, 2022. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will have Mia Copeland, who will be reading a Buddhist view of life and death.
Life is eternal. From the Buddhist perspective, life and death are the two alternating phases of life. Together, they make up a larger universal rhythm. Nichiren explains in one of his letters, Myo represents death and Ho, life. No phenomena, either heaven or earth, yin or yang, the sun or the moon, the 5 planets, or any of the worlds from hell to Buddhahood are free from the two phases of life and death. Life and death are simply the two functions of Myoho Renge Kyo. Buddhism expounds the principle of the oneness of life and death. If the living family members are happy, those who have died will move on a course to happiness too. Similarly, Sensei explains, if the family members who have died attain Buddhahood, they will be able, as part of the protective forces of the universe with which they have emerged to protect their living family members. Some may feel that death means cutting all ties with the deceased, but that simply is not the case. The bonds we share with family and friends are eternal and indestructible. Every individual's death is, likewise, a means to an end. That is, a means to rebirth. As we grow older, we become weak and sickly and eventually die. But we do not die for nothing. We die to start a new life. The fundamental purpose of death, then, is birth, to allow us to start fresh in the next phase of our eternal life cycle. Buddhism teaches that by struggling to overcome the pain and sadness that accompanies death, we become more aware of the dignity of life and develop the spirit to share the sufferings of others as our own.
Thank you. Next, I will read a passage from the writings of Nichiren Daishonin on happiness in this world. There is no true happiness for human beings other than chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. The sutra reads, where living beings enjoy themselves at ease. How could this passage mean anything but the boundless joy of the law? Surely you are included among the living beings. Where means Japudvipa, a Japan and lies with Japudvipa, could enjoy themselves at ease mean anything but that both our bodies and minds, lives and environments are entities of 3,000 realms in a single moment of life and Buddhas of limitless joy. There is no true happiness other than upholding faith in the Lotus Sutra. This is what is meant by peace and security in the present existence and good circumstances in future existences. Though worldly troubles may arise, never let them disturb you. No one can avoid problems, not even sages or worthies. Drink sake only at home with your wife and chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. Suffer what there is to suffer, enjoy what there is to enjoy. Regard both suffering and joy as a fact of life, and continue chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo no matter what happens. How could this be anything other than the boundless joy of the law? Strengthen your prayer of faith more than ever. With my deep respect, Nichiren. Next, we will have remembering our pioneer. And first, we will have a video tribute. And then after that, we will open it up to family and friends to come up and speak.
Hi, my name is Mike Bynum, and I'm here to talk about my best friend, Skip. He's a difficult loss for me and everyone who knew and loved Skip, but how lucky were we to have him as long as we did. Skip and I met as sophomores in high school 48 years ago. He was my brother, my confidant, my partner in crime, my lifelong and very best friend. He was always unselfish, generous, optimistic, and funny as hell. Everyone who met Skip fell in love with him because of the way he treated people. He was a kind and honorable man. I'm still struggling to get my head around the fact that he's gone. It's hard to let go. Skip, I hope that you are as fortunate in your next life as I was in this one by knowing you. I love you.
I'm Michael's Aunt Mary. I was only 15 when Michael was born. I was so excited to be an aunt and have a little infant in the family. Although we lived in different states, I was able to come up and visit him on one of my summer vacations when he was maybe 2 or 3 years old. And I remember I was able to take him to an amusement park at the time, which was called Euclid Beach. Took him on some of the kiddie rides, and we had such a nice time. After that, it was several years that we didn't see each other, but we got to reconnect as he was an adult, married, family man, and he would come back and visit. Our best memories of Ray and myself, he would come to visit his dad and Gloria and his brothers and sister Michelle, and we would have some nice dinners and get-togethers at his dad's place in Pinole. Very nice memories, wonderful wife, and he always made it a point to come out to Mentor to visit us, and we had such nice memories. Always remember, even though we lived apart, our mom, his grandma Jean, never forgot Michael. She remembered every holiday, every birthday, even if it was just a little token, and always reminded us to remember Michael. So hopefully Michael is at rest and at peace and happy in heaven with his mom and his grandma Jean. We miss you, Michael, and we love you. God bless.
My name is Mark Taylor. I'm Bev's brother. And first I want to say how sorry I am, Bev, for your loss. Michael was a great friend, I would say, of mine. And one of the things that I liked most about him was his sense of humor and his quick wit. There were many times that I got to know him better through our travels up to San Francisco. We made that trek up to the Buddhist Community Center and shared a lot of laughs and a lot of good times with each other. He was had a quick wit, and he was very good with his Three Stooges impersonations. And I can still hear his voice as he made fun over the years. I liked the fact that he had a real sense of perfectionism about the way he did things. He was very fastidious about that, and I can appreciate that. One of the things that I enjoyed most, I think, with Michael was standing around the barbecue, and he was grading the barbecue, and we would spend time drinking beers, cracking up, making fun, and as I observed his fastidiousness about how, probably if we're going to stay, they were even a hot dog. And I'm going to miss those days. He's just a really good friend of mine.
My name is Pinole, and how I came to know Michael was through my sister because they got married. And they had a fantastic marriage. Michael took really great care of my sister. You could see the love that he had for her. I think that's why I loved him the most. He was also very funny, very welcoming. Always had great stories to tell. Sometimes he seemed bigger than life, and just always made you feel very welcome, no matter what was the situation that you were in, whether you were in a tragic family event or you were just visiting for vacation. Anyways, I loved him very much.
Michael, I met you when I was a little guy back in Seliga. Really didn't hang out too much back then, but then went up to Washington to meet you guys. My graduation, great time barbecuing, and we came back down here, and then flew out here for my graduation from college, which is a surprise he actually did. But we went out on that pontoon boat on the lake, Shaver, and it was a blast. We almost sunk the boat because it was too front heavy and stopped. And yeah, that was quite the adventure. And then when you and I and Mike the boat into the back narrows, kind of cruised around out there, that was a highlight. That was a lot of fun. I still think about that today, every day. Brother, you're gonna be, you're looking down from us up above, and you're just all around great guy. And you miss, truly, how you've been. Again,
hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. In memory of my stepfather, Michael. May you rest in peace and shower us with love and laughter until we meet again. Michael has shaped me into the man I am today. For his unconditional love to me as a father and love to my mom as a husband, I'm forever grateful. Michael has been in my life since I was a young boy. Mom would call him Michael the man, and I was my son. And he was just a pillar, a man that I can trust, love, because Michael has had such a life of his own. I was able to really ask him and speak to him about anything. He didn't put judgment. He didn't carry one side or the next. He brought wisdom and life experiences, everything a boy needs from their father, from a man. Michael would teach me certain skill sets, such as how to play chess or appreciate sushi, cooking. We would go to a little Japanese market just down the street and we'd get sushi rolls. We'd sit on the couch and watch Star Trek or Three Stooges, for Hitchcock. Now I love sushi. It's probably one of my addictions, actually. And now I teach others how to play chess. Whether it's my nieces and nephews, friends, neighbors. And Michael taught me to appreciate all the things in life, the simple things. And to take sour and turn it sweet. Taught me not to judge, gave examples from his own experiences. The man taught me a lot of values, a lot of what it means to be a good person, a good man, a good husband, a good father, a good friend. Michael has taught me cooking. And, we didn't have a microwave or any kind of frozen processed food. So there was no quick heating up anything and grabbing lunch. Everything had to be prepared from scratch, which was frustrating as a teenage kid. But boy, when he was cooking, that was his domain, and boy, you better get out of the way. Taught me how to cook with everything from the scratch side, but you make do with what you got. So now I practice just that. I do have a microwave, but usually just to heat up my coffee if I make too much. We would enjoy baseball games, whether it was the Single A Spurs and Seliga, or going to an Oakland Athletics game or a Mariners game. We had all the different hats of all the teams. I still believe he does there in the man cave there in Indiana. Michael was an incredible father figure, an incredible mentor, a friend, and kind spirit. He's just so filled with life. He just would shine. And, every time I have a barbecue, that man is going to be my toast and my memory. Beer in one hand, tongs in the other. Michael, you'll never be forgotten. You will be missed. I love you so much, man. I love you, my brother. I thank you all for being here today to celebrate Michael's life.
And now at this time, we welcome and invite you to come up and share your thoughts for Michael. We ask that you use 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah, come on up, please. We invite you to come up. Thank you.
I don't need any stinky Michael. You know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I gotta tell you, Michael was the tree. He is such a special person. It's hard to even shed a tear knowing that he's going to be perfect wherever he is. He's done so much in his life. He has so many great friends. A lot of them are right here. A lot of them are all over the country. I could tell stories for hours, but that would not be appropriate because most of them would involve me getting in trouble and him not getting in trouble. And he did a lot better than I did. He's my hero. I appreciate everybody's thoughts, memories, and prayers. And a special thanks to the Buddhist community. They did a wonderful job. I am wearing a Cleveland Indians hat, though they're not the Indians anymore, they're the Guardians. But Michael knew them as the Indians, and I thought I'd better wear the right hat. I'd be cursed. So that's why we got the hat on. The other thing is, I noticed a couple of times we had a little bit of applause. And I would like to make a request that we have a real round of applause for his young, beautiful wife, Beverly, for all she has done and been with him. Please, let's let her. For you, and it will get better. And with all the support, with all your friends and neighbors, you're going to do real good. And I'll let somebody else come up here and finish this off. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm going to need a microphone. So as you see, they're cut from the same cloth. And I dealt with that. Anyway, I just want to say the one word that I think of when I think of Michael is pride. He was the proudest person, but not in an egotistical way. And it was a mutual pride. When I was a little girl, he came to visit. I was about 4 years old. And he was that hippie that you saw with the curly blonde hair. And for the next several years, I would tell everyone I had a 7-foot tall brother in California. And I believed it. But as you see, I didn't grow too tall. But he was so proud. Every time he came home, he was proud to be part of the family. He was proud of his aunts and uncles. He was proud of Beverly. Look at my wife, my son. And the best part was he was so proud of me. Anywhere we went, he would say, "This is my sister. This is my sister." And I had chest out, and I was just as proud of him. So I'm lucky. I'm a lucky sister. I'm unlucky in the fact that I can't call him tomorrow and ask him how it went, because I know he would say, "Michelle, guess who was there?" And guess who sent a letter? And, and he'd be so proud of everyone that paid tribute to him. And so thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. And I'll always be proud of Michael, and I'm proud that I'm his sister. So thank you.
Well, I'm Gloria, Michael's stepmom, but I prefer to be called Michael's friend. I first met Michael when he was 16, when he came to Cleveland for a visit. And he was a typical teenager, just loved him to death. We had a lot of fun through the years when he would come to visit. Everybody talking about family and Michael and how much he loved the family. When Michael came to Cleveland, he insisted the family get together. They were always happy get-togethers. We'd have beer and cookouts and go out to dinner. That was a thing. Michael brought his family together. God bless you, Michael. I know you're in a better place. As far as being a Buddhist, when I visited Michael in the hospital and in hospice, but mostly in the hospital, a month ago, he was so at peace. He was at peace with his cancer. He was at peace with the world, when he could have been just so negative in Beverly. Beverly, the love of his life, and how he took care of Beverly. And he will still be there taking care of you, Beverly. And thank you all for being here and all your wonderful words.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your words. Next, we will have Carl Smith with a eulogy.
You know, I can just feel the love for Michael in this room. Folks that have known him for so many years, and I can almost, I was sitting back there and I was listening to some of the comments, and I could just, from what I know of Michael, I could just see him walking into this room and him snapping his fingers saying, "Y'all need to party a little bit, bring it up a notch." That's just how Michael was. Great guy, great guy. And I'm really touched so deeply by, so many heartfelt messages and memories of him. So today, we're here to remember and celebrate and honor the life of Michael Rodio. And I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here. I'm going to read this, hoping I can keep myself together. He was a dear friend to me, too. I know there are people that are not here, that were not able to attend, but I know that they're thinking of Michael, thinking of the family, thinking of friends, and expressing their condolences in many ways. Some were able to share on the video that you saw. Putting that together was really something. Some sent a note, some of the notes that were read today. Some wrote messages on the tribute wall at Palmer's. And I read some of the tributes and posts that were posted on the wall. So heartfelt. I can imagine that there are others that did not write anything, but they paused today to say a prayer for Michael and for the family and his friends. I met Michael through our Buddhist organization. We became fast friends. You know, Michael was a leader in our organization. I was kind of thinking back, like when I was raised as a Baptist, so he was kind of like a deacon, you know. I'm not sure if there's a straight line comparison, but he had a sense of responsibility and he had a formal role in our organization. And we were both drawn to the ideals of Buddhism, coming from different directions. Like so many of us, we have family and friends that come from different faith traditions. However, it was never confusing to us what really mattered. The heart. A person's heart is what really matters. Michael had a great heart. Daisaku Ikeda is the president of our lay organization, and he often says that the heart is what matters most. So within us, we have a heart, size of a fist, but somehow it's large enough to hold all of the hopes and dreams, all of our love and sadness, all of the joys and sufferings of life, and also the faith that our lives have meaning beyond the things that we can see. So we share a belief in the importance of living a meaningful life. That was one of the things that I shared with Michael. One of the things I think that we all share. When you look around the world, sometimes it's difficult to reconcile the contradictions that we see, and it's difficult to reconcile the frailty of our own bodies as we age, and difficult to reconcile our own mortality. In our heads, we think somehow that we have more time. We can sometimes have a feeling that we can hold on to these moments. As you heard earlier, Buddhism has at its core the ideal that our lives exist eternally. It also holds that everything begins from this moment. The past, the present, the future, they're not separate, but they're all contained kind of in a bubble floating down a stream called time. This moment is eternal, doesn't have a beginning or ending. Eternity really is right in front of our eyes, right before us. How did we know Michael? We may never understand how we're connected, but the depth of our love lets us know that without a doubt we are. So you've heard a little bit about the Buddhist view. We find a solemn law in the light of the Buddha's wisdom. This law means that the occurrence of cause and effect, this determines our lives and our roles in society as friends, as sons and daughters, as brothers and sisters, nieces, nephews, fathers, mothers, comrades in faith. We are united in that way. And because of this, we honor the fact that in this lifetime, we were able to be reunited with Michael. This is the result from a Buddhist standpoint of our deep karmic relationship from our past lives. It's not a coincidence. It is a result of our deep karma. That is true in this life. It will be true in our future life. We are always together. Most people are looking for love. You know, I grew up during the 60s listening to Motown records, and, you know, most people are looking for love. Michael met the love of his life when he met Beverly. Back then, Michael was working for a delivery firm for an optical company that Bev was working at. There was a spark. He asked her out. They went to a Halloween party. A year later, they got married. So when it came to love, Michael and I, we shared something, a complete conviction that we had found the one. Michael felt that way about you, Bev. He called you his star. He called you his star. And he knew I felt that way about Deb. And when he would talk about Deb or Bev, he would call her his star in the same way I would talk to him about my wife being the one for me. And Michael and I would sometimes, we would laugh out loud about how they knew it, how Beverly knew it and how Deb knew it. And there'd be times like we would be at a meeting and we'd be standing there, me and Michael be talking, and Deb and Bev would be talking. And there'd be times where they would be talking about us. And we would be like, hello, we can hear everything you're saying. And they would look at each other and just die laughing. Michael and I would talk about baseball. As baseball fan growing up, Cubs fan. Grew up a Cubs fan. A few years back, I know you recall the Cubs played Cleveland, the Indians in the World Series. And there was a stretch of time where Michael and I couldn't even look at each other. And I'd say something like, well, you know, the Cubs haven't won in over 100 years. And Michael would look at me and like, well, that is not my problem. He was funny. He was good-hearted, cared about the future of this world. He wanted to add his name to the ledger of folks that were doing something sincere in this life. While he was in the hospital, Bev talked about how so many of the nurses and the techs, they looked at Michael differently. Michael always had a great sense of humor, was always encouraging them, talking to them about their lives, you know, what was important for them. They talked about how Michael was kind and respectful. Excuse me. They felt that he was a joy. He was definitely different and more positive than some of the other patients that they had. One of the times I visited him, he was definitely in the fog of his meds. And I told him about Tiana. Tiana, our daughter, had just gotten a job as chief academic officer for a school system. And it was like somebody had stuck him with a needle, you know, packed with adrenaline. And he sat up and he said, tell her I am so proud of her. Tell her I'm so proud of her. Tell her mom, Deb, is involved in education. He said, tell Deb and Tiana, we needed educators like that when I was in school. Educators that really care about kids. And he was just so proud of you guys. I asked Michael what he wanted people to know about him and his life, his struggle with cancer. And I asked him, what was his determination? He said he had one important goal when he got cancer, and that was to be a good Buddhist, to be a good human being. He served a role in our organization, but essentially it comes down to being a good human being. One of the most important teachings in Buddhism centers around a practitioner who bowed to everyone that he met because he saw them as special, as having the Buddha. Everyone has the Buddha in them. And Michael saw that as an example for his life. He wanted to appreciate everyone's life. Respecting another person is not something that we do for someone else's sake. It really is for our own sake, to give us meaning and understanding about what's important in life. This was Michael living a righteous life. That was important to him. From the letter reply to Matsuno, as I have been saying for some time, in your situation as a lay believer, you should just single-mindedly chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo morning and evening, day and night, and observe what happens at the last moment of your life. At that time, hasten to the summit of perfect enlightenment. Look around you. In all directions, the entire realm of phenomena will have changed into the land of tranquil light. With the ground made of lapis lazuli, the 8 paths marked by the golden ropes, the 4 kinds of flowers raining down from the heaven, music resounding in the air, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all living beings caressed by the breezes of eternity happiness, true self, and purity. We too will surely be among their number. The Lotus Sutra is indeed such a splendid sutra. We offer our deepest sympathy to the family, friends of Michael Rodio. I'm going to miss you, Michael. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we'll have closing remarks by Beverly Rodio.
That's my ride. I want to thank all of you so much for your support. I don't know if I can live without him, but I have to. And I mean, all of you, all your prayers, the help putting this together. Tiana and Carl, Delba, Nancy and Del did so much. All of you did so much, and you've all meant so much to me in my life and in Michael's. Yeah, we're all going to miss him a lot. That's all I can say is thank you from the bottom of my broken heart.
Thank you again for your time today and being here for Michael's service. I don't know if there's anything else you want me to say.
There's still cookies and coffee.
Okay. There's still cookies and coffee downstairs. There's some French vanilla cream. I like that French vanilla and some sugar. Right. So thank you again for being here. Thank you for those that tuned in online. We will definitely miss Michael, but we will carry him forward in our own hearts. Definitely. So thank you.
It's time to party.
I'd just like to thank everyone that was able to be here for the services today. I know the family appreciates it, and so do we. If you'd like to come by and speak to them before you leave, feel free to do so. Then I'll open these doors and you can just exit through these doors. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what's so easy? And in the last video, I saw the camera comes on. He goes like this. He looks like this. I said, no. Man, what happened? I said, life. You'll find out. You'll find out. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, once she's done, that's her day. So, okay. That's why I want to get to all these guys, all the guys. I get them redirected.
All I remember the stories of just they cooked. One of them cooked. It was him. Nice guy. It was him. One of them cooked. I remember. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They can hook up later in life.
You will be.
Yes. Cleveland, Italian day.
And I didn't know they would get their canceled to like the city. So but all the museums are free. Everything is free. I guess St. Louis is known for the every museum's free, and we didn't even know everything. They got a new station, Ferris wheel park. It was just nice greenery. It's just a beautiful city. Yeah, it was like 5 hours. That was it. Well, I love it. I love it. I was in I went to Atlanta. This was the first time I ever done that. This takes 10 hours. After I did that, that's not scary. And when the cops oh my gosh, that's the scariest part of those mountains. Yeah, that's the scariest part. But after I did that, I love it. It's only, and it's 55. 55 is the main highway. 55 south, 55 north. Once